Chapter 7. How the Most High gave a beginning to his works, and created all material things for the use of man, while angels and men were created to be his people under the leadership of the incarnate Word. The cause of all causes is God, who created all things that have being. His powerful arm gave existence to all his wonderful works ad extra, when and how he chose. The beginning and succession of the works of creation is described by Moses in the opening chapter of Genesis. Since the Lord has given me an understanding thereof, I will mention what I think useful for elucidating the mysterious origin of the incarnation of the Word and of our redemption. The words of the first chapter of Genesis are as follows. 1. In the beginning God created heaven and earth. 2. And the earth was void and empty, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved over the waters. 3. And God said, Be light made, and light was made. 4. And God saw the light, that it was good, and he divided the light from the darkness. 5. And he called the light day, and the darkness night. And there was evening and morning one day, etc. Of the first day, Moses says that in the beginning God created heaven and earth. Though he himself is immutable in being, the Almighty God, in calling creatures into existence, issued, so to say, forth from his own self, and gave to creatures a being of their own, in order that he might, as it were, rejoice in the works of his own hands, as being the perfect and adequate results of his operation. And before creating intellectual and rational creatures, desiring also the order of executing these works to be most perfect, he created heaven for angels and men, and the earth as a place of pilgrimage for mortals. These places are so adapted to their end and so perfect that, as David says of them, the heavens publish the glory of the Lord, the firmament and the earth announce the glory of the works of his hands. The heavens in their beauty manifest his magnificence and glory, because in them is deposited the predestined reward of the just. And the earthly firmament announced that there would be creatures and men to inhabit the earth, and that men should journey upon it to their Creator. Before he created them, the Most High wished to provide for them and create that which is necessary for the attainment of their end, and for living in the manner ordained for them. Thus all parts of the creation would be compelled, as it were, to obey and love their Maker and Benefactor, and by his works to learn of his holy name and of his perfections. Of the earth Moses says that it was void, which he does not say of the heavens, for God had created the angels at the instant indicated by the word of Moses. God said, Let there be light, and light was made. He speaks here not only of material light, but also of the intellectual or angelic lights. He does not make express mention of them, but merely includes them in this word on account of the proclivity of the Hebrews to attribute divinity to new things, even of much greater inferiority than the angels. But the metaphor of light was very appropriate to signify the angelic nature and mystically the light of their science and grace with which they were endowed at their creation. God created the earth conjointly with the heavens in order to call into existence hell in its center, for at the instant of its creation there were left in the interior of that globe spacious and wide cavities suitable for hell, purgatory, and limbo. And in hell was created at the same time material fire and other requisites, which now serve for the punishment of the damned. The Lord was presently to divide the light from the darkness, and to call the light day and the darkness night. And this did happen not only in regard to the natural night and day, but in regard to the good and bad angels. For to the good he gave the eternal light of his vision, and called it day, the eternal day, and to the bad the night of sin, casting them into the eternal darkness of hell. Thus we were to be taught the intimate relation between the merciful liberality of the Creator and Vivifier, and the justice of the most just Judge in punishment. The angels were created in the empyrean heavens, and in the state of grace by which they might be first to merit the reward of glory. For although they were in the midst of glory, the divinity itself was not to be made manifest to them face to face and unveiled, until they should have merited such a favor by obeying the divine will. The holy angels, as well as the bad ones, remained only a very short time in this state of probation, for their creation and probation with its result were 3 distinct instants or moments, separated by short intermissions. In the first instant they were all created and endowed with graces and gifts, coming into existence as most beautiful and perfect creatures. Then followed a short pause, during which the will of the Creator was propounded and intimated, and the law and command was given them, to acknowledge him as their Maker and Supreme Lord, and to fulfill the end for which they had been created. During this pause, instant or interval, Saint Michael and his angels fought that great battle with the dragons and his followers, which is described by the Apostle St. John in the 12th chapter of the Apocalypse. The good angels, persevering in grace, merited eternal happiness, and the disobedient ones, rebelling against God, merited the punishment which they now suffer.